Happy Thursday. How is everybody today? I have not had enough sleep. I kind of feel like a zombie, but I'm excited. You want to know why I'm excited? Because it is 153 days. 153 days, that's all. That's not a lot until Christmas. Who just groaned? I heard you. I heard you groan. I saw you roll your eyes. Some people do not love that whole countdown to Christmas thing because it means different things to different people, obviously, but I love Christmas, so 153 days, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. Bring on the Christmas. Can we put up the Christmas tree now? We cannot. My husband would probably kick me out if I did that. I have like 7 Christmas trees. I go a little crazy. But what I can do is I can show you guys 2 Christmas-inspired projects that are using some really awesome beads from Jesse James Beads. They are also celebrating Christmas in July. There is 24% off all red, white, and green beads over on the Jesse James Beads website. And I have this cutie little Christmas in July mix that we're going to use today. And we're actually going to do 2 things today. I'm going to give you guys a pair of earrings, a project for a pair of earrings. And if we have enough time, which I hope we do, I'm going to do a bracelet, just a quick little something fun, showing off all these great beads. Hi Shelby, hi Emily. Good morning, good morning. So glad everybody is here. So how do you guys feel about Christmas? What are your thoughts on Christmas? No, I love Christmas. I love all holidays. I'm just kind of a happy-go-lucky holiday kind of person. Halloween is the very tip top of my list because we do huge things for Halloween. But Christmas is second on my list and I go absolutely crazy. So when Sarah told me that Jesse James Beads was doing Christmas Eve in July, because it's the 24th, I got really excited and I got the beads yesterday. Like I had a really crazy day yesterday and I got the beads as soon as I got home. They were waiting on me and I brought them up here and started playing with them. And I told Sarah after I finished the designs, I was like, I grinned like an idiot the entire time I was creating these 2 pieces because that's how much Christmas gets me excited. And I don't know where you guys live, but it is so hot. I needed a good Christmas time break to think about colder weather and the holidays and all of that. So it's never too early, especially when you are a jewelry maker and if you sell at booths and you do things around the holidays, it's always good to have some Christmas jewelry on hand. So we've got some cool beads for you guys. It's one of those 3-tiered packs. There's some charms. There are some of those little baubles that have all the little, they look like Christmas ornaments with the red and green in them. They're just super cute. And then some tassels and some beads. We're going to make some awesome stuff. Hi, Meredith. Thank you for being here this morning. Catherine in California. Catherine, when you're in California, have you ever had a cold, just ignore me. I'm scratching my shoulder. Have you ever had a cold Christmas? I couldn't do, I don't think I could do Christmas in like Florida. I have to have the cold Christmas. So I'm fortunate that we get to actually experience a little bit of winter here. So, okay. Yeah, I know I'm over the top excited. Hey Lynn. All right, I'm gonna flip you guys down so you can check out these beads and then we're gonna make a really cute pair of earrings. Actually, I'm gonna show you a little teaser before we get started because laying these down flat, you don't really get exactly what's going on. But look, we're making little Christmas trees. Aren't they cute? You can tell I'm excited. All right, so I'm gonna flip you guys around. Johannesburg, South Africa. Wow, thank you for joining us. That's awesome. All right. So let's get started with some fun stuff, you guys. I really love this whole pack. Look how cool. Hi, Sarah. Good morning. All right, so this is the 3-tiered pack. You can see it's got the really cool charms on the top. There's some fun stuff in the middle, and then all the beads on the bottom. Let's open it up and play with it a little bit. I love the new 3-tiered pack that they are doing with Jesse James Beads. I think that's probably my favorite way to get things. It's like opening 3 different packages, you know? Just some satisfaction involved in all that. Okay, so let's check out these charms. These are super fun. So there's 2 of each, which is perfect for earrings. So you got your little Christmas trees. I love it. And the snowflakes. I love those. You've got some Christmas bells, which are super cute, and some little reindeer. Oh my gosh, they're so cutie. And what's cool about the reindeer, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a loop here for you to attach it, and then there's like this little space between his legs right here in the front. You could dangle something off right there as well. Super, super cute. And then he has that extra texture going on. He's just cutie patootie, and I'm a huge fan of the snowflakes. Those are probably my favorite. I don't know, second got to be the Christmas trees. I love a good Christmas tree. So you get all of these charms. Meredith's so not ready for Christmas. Oh, come on, Meredith. I'm ready for Christmas. And you up in Pennsylvania, you guys get you actually have white Christmases now and then, don't you? We never get snow for Christmas. I wish we did. We rarely get snow. It does get cold, but we don't really get much snow here. Okay, so check these out. These are super cool too. So you get your cage beads, which are always popular and absolutely beautiful. And then all the little baubles. Look at these guys. They look, when you put the red in them and the green and the white in them, they really do look like Christmas ornaments. Like, that excites me to no end. Super cute. Two of those. So you've got doubles, so you can make earrings if you want to, or you can use these all as charms. Aren't they cute? Love them. Here's the little green ones. They have stars in them. Really, really love those. Okay, so some of you are not so big on getting ready for Christmas. 153 days is not long enough for you. That's totally okay. I get that. I mean, you know, sometimes Christmas can be, you know, it can be hard. So I get that. So my answer to that would be, yes, these packs are awesome. You could totally use these in non-Christmas ways. Of course, you know. All right, these are super cool. When I saw these, all these need for me is just an ear wire. I think they're pretty awesome. You know, that makes a great pair of earrings, and you don't have to do anything except add your ear wires to them. I really, really love that. So that's cool. I mean, you could dress them up and do other things with them, but I think personally, I'm going to put ear wires on them and just wear them. And I might actually wear these today. That's right, in July. I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid of it. All right, so here's the last pack. This is on the bottom, and this has got all the fun beads in it, and it does have some more tassels, which are super, super cool. We're going to use we're going to use one of these little tassels. We're going to use a lot of the beads, though. So there's 4 of the little mini tassels. You've got some red glass and some green. You've got these guys. They are really, really pretty, and they have that crazy disco ball kind of facet to them. Really awesome. I love these little teardrops. So cute. So yeah, you got a really good little mix. Let me move you just a little bit. There you go. Kind of center that up more so you can really get a good look at it. So this pack has got a lot of stuff in it, like a lot of great stuff in it that you can use in other ways if Christmas is not something that you have on your mind. But if you are working towards creating some jewelry for Christmas for your Christmas booths or anything like that, this is going to be a great addition because you can make a ton of stuff with this and you'll be ready to go. You'll be ready to put your Christmas jewelry out, and you know, because you usually sell those kinds of things in October and November, and then people like to wear them in December. So it's really, when it comes to making jewelry, it's never too early to think about Christmas. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, like I said, if we've got time, we're going to do 2 different things, but the first thing we're going to start out doing, good morning, Janice. The first thing is we're going to make these little, they look like Christmas trees, right? I mean, you use your imagination, obviously. It's some coiled wire, and then we're using one of those little drops and adding some extra beads. I'm going to show you how super easy this is. It's not hard at all, and you'll be whipping out Christmas tree earrings like nobody's business. They make a really cute pendant too. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need about 9 inches of 18 gauge wire, and I have lost my piece, but I'm going to go ahead and cut another one. So I'm using gold color German style wire for this. You can use artistic wire for this as well. It really is up to you. But about 9 inches is going to give you the right amount for a good sized Christmas tree. You can go a little crazy and make it even bigger if you want to, but I'm going to keep mine about the size. Here's the size. So you can see 9 inches is going to give you a Christmas tree that's about 1.5 inches tall. Okay. All right, so this is super, super easy. There's really nothing difficult about this. It just takes a little bit of patience. And I know that when it gets closer to Christmas, that's in short supply. So why not take advantage of the patience you have now? Right? Okay, so I'm going to take just regular chain nose pliers for this. I'm not going to use the round nose pliers for the start of this. You can, but it doesn't make that much of a difference, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to grab the very, very tip of my 18 gauge wire, okay? And I'm just going to turn a little loop, and you can see I snapped it because I'm just barely grabbing the tip of the wire here, okay? And you just want to turn that. You're not really turning a loop. You're kind of creating, I mean, you are going to have a loop when you're finished, but you're really just kind of creating a little P shape. And you want it as small as possible, but you want to be sure, and that's part of the reason I'm using the chain nose pliers for this, you want to be sure that you've got enough room so that an eye pin or a head pin can fit through your little opening here. And then you just want to close it up. And so I just put the whole thing between the jaws of my pliers and then just kind of close it up. Now you can see that's not really a loop, and you're really not even going to see it. So I did kind of mar the wire just a little bit. That's okay. Nobody's ever going to see that. Okay. So now what we want to do is we're going to create a spiral. And to do that, we're going to take this little loop that we've created here, and we're going to place that in the jaws of our pliers. Okay. We're just going to hold that down. You can use nylon jaw pliers for this if you want to, but I feel that I have more control with just my regular chain nose pliers. And if you're careful, you won't continue to mar up the wire, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold the wire just like this, and it's coming out the side here, and you're just gonna turn. You're gonna make these little turns. The first couple of turns are kind of hard to get going because that little loop is a tiny one, but you can see how I've started to turn the wire, okay? You can see I'm starting to turn a little spiral. So the movement is the coiled part of the wire is between the pliers, okay? And I'm holding those this direction. And you can do this in two different ways. You can hold the wire, the long end of the wire still and bend your hand, or you can do a little bit of both. I kind of do a combination of both. So I'll move the wire and the pliers kind of in unison to wind up a spiral. And my little opening here, I may have made that too small. We're going to find out at the end. It's all right if we did, because I have an extra spiral on hand. You do want to be sure you've got enough room there for 22 gauge wire to fit through there. I think it'll fit. I think it will fit, so I think we're good. But you can see I'm just opening and closing. Bending the wire a little bit, opening, repositioning, turning, opening, repositioning, and closing, okay? And so our spiral is actually going to be flat, and that's exactly what you want. And you just want to keep going, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I very rarely get a perfectly round spiral. I figure it's just more artisan looking if it's not completely round, okay? So just going to keep going, placing that in there, turning around, and you can see now my spiral is bigger than the jaws of my pliers. That's okay. I'm still kind of holding on to just the center of the spiral with my pliers and guiding that wire with my fingers. And I'm just doing a little bit at a time. If you try to do too much of the length at once, you really are gonna mess it up. Like I wouldn't move an inch of the wire at a time, you know, and try to make this big swoop all in one movement. You want to make the tiniest little movement so that you have control over where that wire is going. Okay, almost there, just keep going. And like I said, this is 9 inches, so this makes a pretty good size spiral. If you want a bigger one or a smaller one, you're just going to adjust your wire accordingly. Okay. Oh, and you can see I'm kind of losing it here at the end. That's all right. It does not bother me in the least. I'm also using my index finger to the back of the wire just to kind of guide it to make sure that it's all flat. so that when I'm making the turns, they're not going over the top or underneath the bottom here. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. There's a little bit of space there. That's okay. I don't care. You're not going to notice it when you turn this into a tree. And we are going to turn this into a tree. Okay, so I don't like to use the entire length of the wire because I like to have a little bit of leverage here. So I'm going to give myself about 1 inch for my tail. Okay, and we will trim this off later. But I just like to have that so I can kind of hold on to it, because what we're going to do now is we're going to flip this over and we're going to take the very tip top of our pliers and we're going to try to place that in the center, okay, and pushing against my finger. And you really want to be sure that you're in the center. Now we're just going to push really slow. Okay, just kind of really gentle, slow movements to get this started. Just pushing the spiral apart. And then when you get it separated a little bit, now you can come in with your fingers and really create the spaces that you want between the wire. Okay, because some people are going to want a tighter wrapped Christmas tree shape. Other people are going to want more space in between here. It's really up to you, and it's very organic looking. Like, this is not a perfect looking little spiral, and I think that's part of the reason that I like it so much. Okay, so you can see once you get this guy started and then you kind of use your imagination, you can see a Christmas tree here, right? And you could certainly use any color wire that you wanted to. You could use some of the twisted wire. I think that would make a really pretty tree as well. All right, so most importantly, I just want to be sure that I've got room up here at the top. There's a nice little top section. There's a nice flat spot here where I can add another bead. And then down here I have my tail, and I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. I'm using a flush cutter for this so that the cut doesn't have any sharp edge to it. Okay, so I'm just trimming that off, and you can kind of double check it. If you're worried about this little piece, you can hit that with some sandpaper or an emery board, just if you're worried about it. Okay, because this is kind of going to be a free dangling situation. And I try to keep that towards the back of my tree. And then just really look at it from all angles and decide what side you like the best, what's going to be the front. That looks pretty good to me. All right, so my tree is ready to go. And just a side note, we're making Christmas trees out of these, but I hope that you can imagine this little spiral doodad in a million different ways. Because once you master the spiral and then you make a cone out of it, you can use these cones for so many different things. So just in case you don't want to make a Christmas tree. All right, so the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need a 4-inch piece of 22 gauge wire. And we are going to create the inside of our Christmas tree. And we are gonna make a wrapped loop here on one end. Just move that out of the way. So I've come down on my piece. I'm giving myself about 1 inch, probably a little bit more than 1 inch. I'm gonna bend that wire 90 degrees, okay? And now I'm gonna come in with my round nose pliers and grab the wire so that it's running between the barrel of the pliers. And I'm going to go up and over, just wherever you feel comfortable. I usually make my loops pretty much the same size. I try to keep a small loop, but if you're into larger loops, that's totally fine too. Wrap that all the way around so we're ready to go. Okay, I'm going to switch hands. And now I'm going to take my tail and wrap it around. I usually use my pliers to do this, but my fingers are here and they work just as well. Okay, so I'm going to wrap around another time so that I've got about 3 wraps here. Okay, so there's that guy. He's got a little bit of a tail. We're going to trim that off. Don't need that. All right, so out of the pack, there are these really cute rectangle glass beads. I really love these. They're really, really beautiful. Catherine, you have to go. That's okay. We understand. You can watch the replay, but we will miss you. Merry Christmas in July. All right, so we're going to thread on one of these guys because it's just super cute, and it adds that pop of green to the inside of the Christmas tree. So we would, I'm just going to show you the steps. We're not going to put this together quite yet because I do want to add the dangle to the bottom, but I do want to show you where we're going with this. So what I would do at this point is I would take this and insert the very end of that through the tip right there of that hole that I created, and then pull this up. So we've got that green that's going to show through our spiral, and we're going to create a dangle to go down here, okay, as well. But I want to attach everything all at the same time. So this piece is ready to go. It's ready for its next step. We're going to sit it to the side and let's work on the drop. You'll understand. We're just going to put everything all together. You could make bells. You absolutely could, Judy. That is an excellent idea. All right, so we're going to take a drop, and you're going to need about 8 inches of 22 gauge wire for this. And I did not pre-cut anything this morning. It's just been kind of a crazy week for me, so I apologize for that. We are going to go ahead and cut that wire right now, though. And I may actually end up with more than I need. I'm using 22 gauge wire. I'm using German style wire. Again, you can use artistic wire if you want to. It's whatever you're comfortable using. There's really no right or wrong when it comes to this kind of thing. Okay, so you're going to need about 8 inches, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it, so I may end up with more than I actually need. That's fine. But if you need a precise measurement, 8 inches is going to get you to where you're going. Okay, so we're going to take this little drop, and you can see it's side drilled right here at the top. So that means that we're going to have to create our wire wrap over the top of this guy. Okay, so I'm going to position this into the bead, and I'm going to give myself, I don't need a whole lot of room, but I'm going to give myself a couple of inches here. Okay, so I'm going to hold that, and you can see I've got the rest of the wire coming out the other side. I'm going to take my tail, and I'm going to bend that up, okay, making kind of a triangle. It's laying across the edge of that bead, which is running this direction, okay? So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take the long end, and I'm going to do the same thing. So now at the top, we've got this little crisscross with our wire, okay? All right, now I'm going to come in. People do this a lot of different ways. I'm going to have to move all these beads so that I don't knock them into the floor. Give me just a second. People do this a lot of different ways. I'm just going to show you what works best for me, okay? You do what works for you. I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to grab the very tip top of that where they're crossing over. Now they're crossing over right over the top of my pliers. I'm going to take my short tail and bend it straight up and down. Okay, so now we're pretending like this is an eye pin or a head pin. Okay, how do you prevent breaking at the top of the drop? My answer is just being very, very careful. I know that's a terrible answer, but really that is the key to this. When you're using the glass beads, and you can see she's talking about the tip top of this, that's a really small amount of space, and if it happens to be drilled in a crooked way, sometimes that will break off. Really, all you can do is just be very, very gentle with it. And I'm going to wire wrap down. I'll show you this guy that's finished. You can see how I've wire wrapped down onto the bead. That actually helps to protect that very tip top of the glass. So that will prevent some of it, okay? All right, so now I'm going to take my long end of wire, and as I'm holding tightly with my pliers, I'm going to wrap around one time, just once. Now I'm coming around the back, okay? And actually, let's go ahead and wrap it towards the front too, so that we're just going in the right direction. Wrapping it all the way around. All right, now I've got one short piece of wire going up through the top, and then I have this long piece over here. There's really no easy way to explain how to do this. It really just kind of takes patience and practice. So we're going to take the long end of the wire, and instead of wrapping upwards, we're going to wrap downwards, and we're going to start to cover. We're covering the wire, and we're also covering the top of the bead. Do not get frustrated if you've never done this before. If you are a beginner, I promise you will master this, but it takes practice and patience, and it is never, ever perfect. And the best way to do it is just to kind of turn the bead inside your fingers. Hi, Daniela. And to guide the wire, okay? And you want the wraps to lay right up against each other. You can see I'm doing it in very gentle, slow movements. You can see where I'm building a spiral again, just making a spiral, but we're covering up all of the wire. Okay, and you can see I'm just going slow, going slow. I'm just now to the very tip top of the bead, so it's going to kind of change the way it feels as you're wrapping around. Okay, it's going to start to get bulky on you. You're going to start to feel the tip of that bead in the wire as you go. Just keep going, slow going. Okay, and you can see it's really easier for me to twist the bead than it is to move the wire, but it's whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so you just keep on going, and as you go, you're gonna create this beautiful little wrap here. And you can do this messy as well. You don't have to make it nice and uniform like I'm making it. I just feel like the uniform wrap here really matches well with the spiral Christmas tree. But if you wanted to make this messy, you certainly could do that, and it would look really cool as well. All right, so I have completely covered up the wire and the very tip top of the bead, and I'm good with that. I don't really feel like I need to go any further. You can continue down if you want to. Now, there are a couple of things that people do at this point. You can just trim off the wire at the end if you want to, or you can push that wire down with your thumb right at the end and then bend this guy up, okay, and wrap him around once right at the very tip top. So that's going to keep you from having a tail that is going to get hooked on anything. With this one, I didn't do that. See, I just trimmed it off, so the wire just ends right there. And that's fine, but if you worry about that getting hooked on your hair or anything else, you can take the end, wrap it around the top, and then just simply trim off what you've got left. So there's a couple of different options there, okay? So now our little drop, isn't he cute? He's ready to go. Now, for the top of this guy, I gave myself way more wire than I needed to. That's okay. I always do that. You really don't need this much of a tail for this. We're not going to do a wrapped loop here. We're just going to take the wire with our chain nose pliers, and we're going to bend it 90 degrees, just like that, okay? And all we're going to do is come in and trim that off. We're going to give ourselves enough room to make a wrapped loop. I'm sorry, not a wrapped loop, just a regular loop, okay? Trim that off, and then you're going to come back with your round nose pliers, and you're going to roll that back towards the bead. So now you've got a nice loop here for this to hang, okay? So let's attach this to this other piece, and then we'll put the earring together, and then we'll move on to a bracelet, which is super cool. All right, so you can see I opened that up just a tiny bit. I'm going to hook that to this guy, okay? Close that back. So now our little dangle section is ready to go. You can decide whether you want this wrapped up part of your wire to be on the front or on the back. I'm going to hide mine in the back, or it can be part of your design. And then we're going to stick this through, making sure that that 22 gauge wire comes through the top of our tree. Pull all that down, and we're ready to add our star at the top, which is one of these really beautiful AB finish glass beads. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. Okay, so now we are going to do a wrapped loop here at the top just to kind of make everything nice and secure. That bead is sitting nicely on the very tip top of our tree. We're going to grab that with our chain nose pliers, bend it over. I make it look so easy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how I do that, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I've been doing this a while, so that's probably, it's just practice, 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 practice. All right, so there's my loop coming all the way around. I'm going to switch hands. I'm going to take my tail, wrap it around 3 good times, and now everything is nice and secure. You've got a good little wrapped loop here at the top. Trim off your tail, and you are done. We're going to add the ear wire to this, and we have the cutest little Christmas tree earring ever. I love these so much. I was so excited when I put these together yesterday. I was just like, wow, those are so cute. Why have I never done that before? So there's our earring. Isn't that cute? Looks just like a little Christmas tree, very artisan looking. I would definitely see something like this in a boutique. This is not something you would buy at a box store. People are going to stop you and say, wow, that's pretty awesome, right? Super, super cute. I really, really love these. Both of these are really cool. Now, something else you could do. If you'll remember at the end, we still had a whole inch of wire that was the tail that we were just kind of holding on to. If you wanted to leave that tail a little bit long and say cut and so you only have about a half of an inch, you can actually make a loop here, you know, just turn a loop. And then you've got another area where you could add an extra dangle of some sort if you wanted to. Just a suggestion. Lots of different ideas. All right, so these are super cute. I'm really proud of these. I love them. I love Christmas trees. Okay, so you've got your earrings. Now let's move on to a bracelet because we've got lots of beads. Why not make something else? And I'm going to show off something today that is new on the Jessie James Beads website. I'm so excited about it. So we're going to do that first, okay? I'm going to bring in the block. Okay, I love that we're doing this in the same little video as our Christmas stuff because I think that this adds just the extra touch to your handmade pieces. It's just super, super cool. And again, if you're doing a booth, this is the way to add an extra touch. I've got a little blank. Look at that. How cute is this guy? I think he's like 11.5 millimeters. I'm not real sure. He might be 12, somewhere around there, but this is a cute little guy. We're going to put him down on our block and ta-da, Impress Art stamp that you can get at Jessie James Beads. And it says, made with love. I love that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add this to our bracelet, which we have not made yet, but we're going to start with the good part first. So if you have not ever used a stamp before, this is a great place to start because you really can't mess this up. Okay, you don't have to be perfect at stamping. You just eyeball this and go with it. The Impress Art stamps, they have what your stamp says and then the words Impress Art on the side. You want that to be facing you when you hold your stamp up and down, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put our little charm guy on the block and we're going to place this in the middle. And this is why I say you cannot mess this up because it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to notice if it's off center. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever, okay? Holding that still with my left hand. And now I have a metal stamping hammer over here on my right. And you're going to hit this twice. And I'm going to be really careful not to hit the iPad. So I'm going to move you guys up just a little bit. I don't want to break you guys. That would be really, really bad. All right, so double checking. The words are facing me. Putting that right in the center. And then we're going to hit this 2 times. And I didn't use 10 tons of force, but I did use some force. And look at that. I know I get really excited over the silliest little things. That says made with love with a little heart. Okay, and that might be kind of hard to see, but we're going to fix that. Let me show you what we're going to do. You can also get a stamp enamel marker, or you can use your patina paints. You guys, we played with patina paints last week. This week we're messing with this marker, and you're going to take your marker and you're going to fill in the groove because it has that nice frame around it and you want to fill in all the words. You want to make sure that that ink goes down inside the grooves here, okay? All right, so I filled all that in with our marker, okay? And you might have to do it twice. It's, you know, you do it once and then go back to it and look at it again, and you might need to fill it in some more. We're going to sit this to the side while we make our bracelet, and then we're going to come back to this and we're going to wipe all this off. So we're going to let this dry just a little bit while we make a bracelet to attach it to. We're going to sit this over to the side, and then when we get finished, we're going to clean it up and you'll get to see just how awesome it is. And it's just that extra touch to your design that's just going to make it even more special. Okay, so let's work on a bracelet. This is going to be quick and easy. Bracelets don't have to be super, super hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab, let's see, we need about 3 inches of 22 gauge wire. Sorry, like I said, I didn't pre-cut my wire this morning. I was I was elsewhere in my mind this morning. Actually, I do have a short piece here. Okay, so we're going to take a piece of 22 gauge wire and we're going to create a wrapped loop on one end. And like I said, this is quick and easy. So this is not, you're not going to be learning any kind of new techniques here with this. I'm going to bend that wire 90 degrees. This is way more wire than I need. I just happened to pick this up because it was sitting here. Okay, coming in with the round nose pliers, up and over. Okay, switching it around and wrapping it around. We're going to wrap around about 3 times. Okay, and then we're going to trim off the tail. Okay, so now let's create the centerpiece for our bracelet. The centerpiece I want to do is going to be in red and white. And we're going to use some of these little rhinestone spacers that were in the mix as well. I'm going to move you guys down just a little bit now that we're through with the hammering part. I can move you back down to where you were. I feel like you get a better view this way. All right, so let's thread on one of these red glass beads. These are so pretty. Okay, and one of the white beads. These are really cool little rondelles. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's got this little divot in the top where another bead will sit so perfectly. This is a really cool shape. I really like it. So one of those, and then one of the rhinestone spacers. And again, all these beads were in that mix. So there's plenty of stuff to work with. Another white, another one of the spacers. The spacers have that AB finish, which just screams Christmas to me. I've got Christmas on the brain. All right, another white and then a red. Now this is going to be like the center, the main component of our bracelet, okay? And we just want to make another wrapped loop here on the end, bending that wire. Like so, up and over, coming on around. All right, so that was quick and simple, just a quick and simple little center section that's wire wrapped on either end so we can attach things to it. Okay, we're going to set that to the side for just a second. We're going to do the same thing to 2 of these little rectangle guys because I feel like our bracelet needs a pop of green so that it definitely, there's like no guessing, it definitely is a Christmas bracelet. Okay, so we're going to need 2 more pieces of our 22 gauge wire. You only need about 3 inches of those. I'm going to go ahead and trim those so that I've got both pieces ready to go. And I'm going to kind of zip through these because I feel like you guys see me do a lot of the same wire wrapping over and over again, and I really want to get this put together. I feel like that's the most important part of this, is just how it all goes together, okay? So same thing, we're doing the wrapped loop. And we're not going to make a wrapped loop chain out of this. We're actually going to connect all of these pieces with jump rings. So that's why I'm not going to go ahead and connect this to our centerpiece just yet. Oop. Well, that was an ugly little wrap I made there. There, clean that up a little bit. I'm at kind of a weird angle here. Hold on. Oh no. Okay, there you go. I thought I was going to lose you guys. All right, so we're going to trim off our tail. And I'm going to tuck that little guy in. He is just not behaving. I may make it look easy, but I tell you, we go through all the same things. Doesn't matter how many times you've been wrapping a loop. Sometimes you get one that goes a little wonky on you. All right, there. I tucked that end down because I don't want that to be sticking up. That would definitely hurt. All right, threading that guy on. Same thing, just making the wrapped loop on the other end. Okay. And this is going to be the only 2 other beads. We're going to use some Rolo chain for the length portion of this, and I'm doubling up the Rolo chain. I'll show you here in just a second. And you can get the chain over on Jessie James Beads website as well. They have a whole selection of chain that is really, really awesome. I was looking last night. They've got some bubble chain that would have been perfect for this bracelet instead of the Rolo chain. Hold on, there we go. All right, so one more, just real quick. I'm going to make a second one of these. Okay, I'm going to kind of speed through. Like I said, as you guys have already seen me do this a few times. So, do you all do booths for the holidays? Do you, those of you who sell your jewelry, do you like to do Christmas booths? I feel like the holidays, particularly the space between Thanksgiving and Christmas, of course, that's when all the Black Friday deals and all of that go on, but I feel like the booths do really well that time of year here in the States. I don't know about elsewhere, but it's certainly a busy time for crafters and artisans during that little, it's like a 3.5 week little time frame between Thanksgiving and Christmas, depending on when Thanksgiving falls, and it's a busy time. All right, gonna go ahead and make that loop on the top, and then we're just gonna put all this together, and we're gonna attach that stamp that I'm so excited to show you guys how cute it is when it gets cleaned off. Now the enamel marker, we're letting that sit way longer than you need to. You really can draw over the stamp on your blank and just give it about 30 seconds. It can still be a little tacky, and then wipe it off and you're good to go. You really don't need to let it sit as long as we are, but I just wanted to kind of move on here. Okay, so we're going to attach all of this with jump rings, and I'm using my handy dandy little Beadalon Findings Variety Pack in the gold color. You can grab these as well over on the Jessie James Beads website. A lot of different metal colors there. We're just going to use some of the 6mm jump rings that are in that pack to put everything together. Okay, so nothing hard here. We're just going to add jump rings in between here. I like to add jump rings sometimes between my dangles because it also opens up another opportunity for you to add extra things here. You could add charms here, you could add bead dangles here, whatever you wanted to do. It's just an extra option. And it really makes the hardware kind of part of the design. And sometimes I want that, sometimes I don't. Really just kind of depends on what you're going for. All right, so 6mm jump rings to attach those together, okay? Now we're gonna take a 6mm jump ring, open it up, and we're gonna loop it onto one side here. And now I've cut 2-inch pieces of gold Rolo chain. I love this stuff. It's one of my favorite chains. It just has a really unique look to it. We're gonna thread one of those on there. Now, this is gonna create about a 7.5-inch bracelet. If you need a bigger bracelet, increase your chain, not your beads, okay? Chain is always a great way to adjust the size. Oh, we're doing 2. Sorry, I almost closed that jump ring. So I'm gonna thread on 2. This just kind of bulks it up a little bit and makes it evens it out. One single strand to me was just not even enough to, I don't know, it just looked off balance. It really balances it more since we have this large centerpiece. So I'm using 2 pieces of chain here. That's just personal preference though. All right, we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. Just adding 2 pieces of 2 inches of Rolo chain. Okay, threading that on. Whoops, that wasn't the end. Okay, so there's that. Close that up. And you can see how just a few little beads and some chain makes such a pretty bracelet. I think the addition of the rhinestone spacers really kind of dresses this up quite a bit. It's amazing how something so small can make such a big impact on a piece of jewelry. All right, so same thing over here on the other end. We just want to be sure that they are not crisscrossed before we thread them on to our jump ring. And this is going to be the clasp side. So we're going to go ahead and thread on. Look at this. Speaking of something to add some pizzazz, Jessie James Beads has some amazing clasps. If you have not gone to check those out on the website, do that because, oh my gosh, there are some really awesome ones. This one is really, really beautiful, really big, just I don't know. It stands out on its own. You could just make a bracelet with just this guy and some chain and let the clasp be your focal point. Oh, it's awesome. And it's magnetic, which I love, so you don't have to mess with trying to hook your bracelet on by yourself. So that's one end. We're just going to attach the other end to it, and we are going to add, well, I really messed up that jump ring. Give me just a second. Let me get another jump ring out of here. I was talking and not being very gentle with my jump ring here. So we're going to open up this jump ring, and we're going to thread it on here, and we're going to thread on our 2 pieces of chain, but we're also going to add our charm, and we're going to add one of those little baby tassels. I'm going to go ahead and close this though, because they're going to be on their own jump rings, okay? So if you don't want to add the extra, you've already got a beautiful bracelet, but we are going to add the extra because we are extra. So I have taken one of the little tiny tassels that's in this mix, the red, green, and white, which is so cute. Okay, and I've added a 4mm jump ring to that. We're going to add that in just a second, but let's go back to our charm. Where's our charm? Okay, so it's been sitting for a little while, and that enamel marker has dried very, very well. And all you need to do, I'm just grabbing a tissue here. You can use a tissue, you can use paper towel, you can use cotton cloth, whatever you've got on hand. And all you're going to do is just wipe this off. And of course, the longer you let it sit, the more elbow grease you're going to have to give this guy, but it will wipe off. And it's going to wipe off the surface, but that enamel marker is going to stay down inside of your charm piece. I really let this one sit for a while, so I'm having to give him a really good rub down here. As you can see, just takes a little bit of elbow grease, but you see how now that Made with Love stamp that we added is really going to pop when I get this cleaned off. All right, I'm gonna have to do an extra little bit of work on this guy because we did let him sit for a while, but it's not a problem. This absolutely will wipe completely off. Let me show you the other one, because you guys don't want to sit here and watch me clean this up forever. I've got one that's already done, and I went ahead and added it to a little jump ring. Isn't that cute? It's just that extra little touch that makes that piece of jewelry extra special, made with love. So now everybody knows when they buy this, or if you give it as a gift, that you really did put some thought and some love into the design. So we're going to take the jump ring that's on this and open it up, and we're going to add it to one of the jump rings on either side down here, just so that it's not actually attached directly to the clasp. I want this to be on its own, so that on the off chance that this were to get attached to something and pull, it'll pull the charm off, but your bracelet won't fall apart. I always try to take that extra precaution when I'm adding extra dangles, because you really don't know. You're a lot harder on bracelets than you think you are. All right, so adding that guy too, just to give it an extra little pizzazz here at the back. So now, no matter how your bracelet is going to lay on your arm, you've got this beautiful clasp, you've got the awesome little stamped charm and your tassel on one side, and then on the other side you have these beautiful glass beads with those rhinestone spacers in between there. Just a really, really pretty holiday set that was easy to put together, but definitely beautiful. You know, beautiful stuff that is gonna stop people and make them look does not have to be complicated. That bracelet was super easy and quick to put together, but I feel like it's effective because it's so, so pretty. All right, so I'm gonna flip you guys around. It's a good thing that when I say I'm gonna flip you guys around, that you're not really flipping around. I know, I'm so lame. All right, so check this out. Look, how cute is that? Those are so sweet. I love them. And there's so many beads left out of this mix that I can make some more of these. Like, there are more of the little ones that we used as the star on top. I have more of the green Christmas tree parts to go in the middle, or you could fill it up with the red on the inside. Really, really cool. And then don't forget, you've still got all of the little baubles that look like Christmas tree ornaments. Which, speaking of, I know we've got some seed beaters out there. Once upon a time, story time. Once upon a time, my mom and I, when I was younger, we made a Christmas tree out of wire and seed beads. Very similar to French flowers. And it was, it was a Christmas tree and it stood on a little stand. If I had had these then, perfect. So those of you who are crafty and you don't necessarily make jewelry, or you're a seed beater or whatever, this set has something for everybody in it, because you totally could make a Christmas tree and literally hang these on there as little Christmas ornaments. Just saying. These would make pretty ornaments too. These are my favorite. They're all my favorite. Who am I kidding? It's all my favorite. All right, so what is the mix? You came in late. That's totally okay. The mix is called Christmas in July. We are all about Christmas in July. And it's a 3-tiered mix. Go check that out. There's also 24% off everything that's red, green, and white on the Jesse James Beads website in celebration of Christmas Eve in July. And mark your calendars. It's 153 days until Christmas. Hooray! Some of you are like, no. But I'm excited. I'm excited about it. All right, so that is it for me, you guys. There is an additional stamping project. If you missed it this week, go check that out using some of the Impress Art stamps. I'm really excited that Jesse James Beads is carrying those now. So it literally is like a one-stop shop for everything. Super, super cool stuff. So definitely check that out. I will see you guys again here next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can catch me tomorrow on my own Facebook page at 1 p.m. I'm making a pendant using, what is the name of this mix? Rainbow Water Ice. This is the mix from Jesse James Beads. I'm using some beads from this in my pendant tomorrow. So if you were interested in that, come and join me over on Sarah Ellis Designs on Facebook. And I will see you guys either tomorrow or next week. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Just one more day, and then you can slide on through to Saturday. So enjoy it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.